All right, folks, how you doing? Welcome back. So, as if I hadn't given myself a huge enough burden already with the additional channels of Tribe of Judah, the secondary channel, the third channel, Academy of the Hellenes, I'm also going to create a fourth channel, Scribe of the Mitzrayim. Now, whereas Tribe of Judah is going to be focused on the Judeo-Scottish connections, the fourth channel, Scribe of the Mitzrayim, is going to focus much more on the Welsh and English connections to Beaumont's theories about biblical history and the classical world. In particular, this whole southwestern region of England, though not exclusively, it will also get into other parts as well, because according to Beaumont, his argument really was that England was Israel and Wales was Egypt, which on the surface, on the face of it, sounds pretty ridiculous, but that's why we're going to unpack these theories. And I'm going to be, again, going back over presentations that I've previously done. I'm going to re-edit them, re-upload them, and put them up on Scribe of the Mitzrayim. Now, there is going to be a lot of overlap between the primary channel and the second, the third, and the fourth channel. Some of these presentations will repeat because the different channels are aimed at different audiences. The first channel really was my first go at things. This was the preliminary channel. This was my first attempt at creating a YouTube channel. So a lot of the things that I've done on the primary channel, I'm going to do again, only better the second time around. It's like a second edition of a novel or a book, because authors often go back and revise their work and improve it and make it better. That's essentially what I'm doing here. Now, Tribe of Judah is aimed at the Scottish audience, the kind of Judeo-Scottish connections, Academy of the Hellenes, at scholars into ancient Greece and the classical world, and Scribe of the Mitzrayim is really aimed at the English and the Welsh in particular. And I could have went with Egypt, but I settled on Mitzrayim because it sounds more classical, it sounds more archaic, more biblical. That emphasis on the ancient world. Everyone knows Egypt, what Egypt is, but it takes a bit more depth, a bit more thinking to understand what Mitzrayim means. That's an old Hebrew word and Aramaic word. I think it's Aramaic for Egypt. So it's like delving deeply into the past. So there is going to be a lot of overlap, I'm not going to lie, between these four channels. Some presentations you're going to find on maybe 2 or 3 of the channels. In fact, there might even be some presentations you find on all of them. It's still a work in progress. But yeah, I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying all this. The only trouble is there's not enough hours in the day to keep up with it all. And every day I'm rethinking of old presentations that I did in the past. I'm going to have to redo and re-upload and re-edit and all the rest, because, this is why you get second and third and fourth editions. Sometimes you look at your work in the past and you scratch your head and you think, God, that was a bit sloppy. I should have done this better. Should have done that better. I could have tidied it up here and there, but as with everything in life, it's a work in progress. But yeah, this whole part of England, this is a region I'm going to have to visit sometime in the next few years. Bristol, Bath, Stonehenge is somewhere around about here. Avebury. Man, it's quite a vast area, isn't it? Cirencester, there's Stonehenge right there. Yeah, I've never been there before. Salisbury is another place I'd love to visit. Cornwall, Devon, this whole area here. Portland, love to go there one day. It's quite amazing to me that David Icke's been sitting on the Isle of Wight this whole time, and all of the theories that Beaumont goes into, it seems to have completely bypassed David Icke, and he's right there. He's, a stone throw away. Well, not really. It's actually a fairly vast area, but, he's right there on the cusp of all this, and yet, I don't know, it's just never really occurred to him. All of Beaumont's theories have just completely passed him by. He's just written off all these biblical myths, as fabrications or stolen from other cultures or just, completely made up fairy tales. Whereas Beaumont really delved into these theories and didn't write them off as fantasies or interpolations or, stolen myths from other cultures. He's saying, no, this stuff really did happen, but it just didn't happen when you think it happened. It happened actually much closer to home. It happened right here in England.
Has Big be living in the White House by the time it reaches their fucking brains?
Or Wales, this whole northern European area. That's why I love Beaumont. He's completely. What in effect he's done is taken a chessboard and flipped it. He's just taken a chessboard and said, all the pieces that are on the one side, he's just, tipped the board and said, no, actually, they're all over here, in effect. So some of his ideas on the surface can seem a bit crazy or a bit odd, but once you get into it, it makes for pretty interesting reading. And I do think that his arguments are pretty articulate. So if you're living in England, if you're in Birmingham, or if you're in London, well, might be time to stretch your legs, maybe see a bit of the countryside. Anyway, thanks for watching.
It's like hanging out with fucking Confucius over here.
Be funny, limp dick.